Hi everyone, I'm Baby Rexina Capistrano from BSBA FM2A. So for today's video, it's all about the unboxing the artwork. But suddenly, we don't have the artworks on hand for us to unbox. That's why I take this other opportunity or other way for me to have the output. And to my instructor, Sir Paul, I'm so sorry, and I'm hoping for your kind consideration to take this video of mine. And guys, before I start, this video is the artworks of the famous artist Leonardo da Vinci. I choose this artist, or I choose his artworks because I found that the artworks of his or the artworks of Leonardo da Vinci is very unique, and among the qualities that he used in laying of his different artworks is very detailed, unique, original. That's why I choose his artworks, and this video is all about Leonardo da Vinci's artworks. So, first artwork that I will be present to you is Mona Lisa. The symbolism of Mona Lisa is it is a visual representation of the idea of happiness suggested by the word of Gioconda in Italian. And the history of this artwork is Leonardo da Vinci, the artist, began painting the Mona Lisa about the year 1503, and it was in his studio when he died in the year of 1519. And Leonardo likely worked on it intermittently over the several years, adding the multiple layers of thin oil glazes at different times, and small cracks in the paint called craquelure. So, every painting or every artwork of Leonardo da Vinci is, if you have or if you see the small cracks of his paintings or of his artworks, it is called craquelure. So, appear throughout the whole piece, but they are finer on the hands, where the thinner glazes corresponds to Leonardo's late period. So, in the year 1911, the painting was stolen. So, this artwork, Mona Lisa, there are rumors of millions na this video was the famous artwork of Leonardo da Vinci because this artwork was stolen. That causes it is causes an immediate media sensation, and people excuse me, people flocked to the Louvre to view the empty space where the painting had once hung. So, nung nawala yung painting sa kinalalagyan niya, yung mga tiningnan talaga nila yung place or yung corner kung saan inilagay yung Mona Lisa, but suddenly hindi nila nakita. That's why the painting or the artwork was stolen. And the museum's director of paintings resigned the poet Guillaume Apollinaire and the artist Pablo Picasso were even arrested as suspects. After 2 years, authorities that a man had tried to sell him the painting. Police found the portrait stashed in the false bottom of a trunk belonging to Vincenzo Piroggia. This man, Vincenzo Piroggia, is an Italian immigrant, and he, possibly other workers, had hidden in a closet overnight, taking the portrait from the wall the morning of August 21, 1911, and run off without suspicion. So, Vincenzo Piroggia was arrested, tried, and imprisoned, while the Mona Lisa take a tour of Italy before making its triumphant return to France. And during the World War II, the Mona Lisa signed out as the most endangered artwork in the Louvre, was evacuated to various locations in France countryside, returning to the museum in the year of 1945, after the peace had been declared. So this famous artwork of Leonardo da Vinci is the rumor that it was stolen, and it was caused an immediate media sensation. That's why the people says that it was very expensive, or it is the most or famous artwork in the year of 1503. And that's the artwork of Leonardo da Vinci, the Mona Lisa. The second artwork that I will be present to you is The Last Supper of Leonardo da Vinci. The Last Supper have been traditionally depicted in Christian art. Christ's revelation to his apostles that one of them will betray him, and their reaction to his announcement, and the institution of the sacrament of the Eucharist with the communion of the apostles. That's the symbolizes of the Last Supper. So let's proceed to the history. The Last Supper Italian Cenacolo, one of the most famous artworks in the world, painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Probably between the year 1495 to 1498, for the Dominican monastery Santa Maria del Grassi in Milan, it depicts the dramatic scene described in several closely connected moments in the Gospel, including from the book of Matthew chapter 26 verses 21 to 28, in which Jesus Christ declares that one of the apostles will betray him, and later institutes the Eucharist. So, the subject of the Last Supper was a popular choice for the refectory walls of monasteries and convents in the 15th century in Italy, whereby the nuns and monks could have their meals in the presence of Jesus' final repast. So, Leonardo's version appears neatly arranged with Jesus at the center of an extensive table, and the apostles to his left and right. So, the Last Supper scene is not, but rather a representation of successive moments that Jesus has declared his forthcoming betrayal. And the apostles react. Philip, who stands in the group to Jesus' left, gestured toward himself and said to Jesus, "Surely not I, Lord." No? Jesus seems to reply, "The one has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me." It found the scripture of Matthew chapter 26 verse 23. Simultaneously, Jesus and Judas, who sits with the group and Jesus' right, reach toward the same dish on the table between them, and the act that marks Judas as the betrayer, Jesus also gestured toward a glass of wine and a piece of bread. And to make the story short, this artwork of Leonardo da Vinci, The Last Supper, it is the betrayer or the forthcoming betrayal of Jesus. And the betrayer is Judas, whose person na ano na to be with God, who dipped into his bowl. That's why the apostle, or one of the apostle of Jesus Christ, Judas, is the betrayer, or the enemy of Jesus Christ, na siniguro talaga ni Jesus na one of his apostles will betray him at his front. That's the story behind the Last Supper. And this artwork of Leonardo da Vinci is the final meal that in the gospel accounts Jesus shared with his apostle in Jerusalem before his crucifixion. And provides the scriptural basis for the Eucharist, also known as the Holy Communion, or the Last Supper, or the Lord's Supper. The third artwork of Leonardo da Vinci is Vitruvian Man. Vitruvian Man symbolizes as the drawing of a male figure perfectly inscribed in a circle and square, known as the Vitruvian Man, illustrates what he believed to a divine connection between the human form and the universe. Beloved for its beauty and symbolic power, and it is one of the most famous images in the world. So, the Vitruvian Man, created around the year 1500 CE by Renaissance era artist and inventor. This image is commonly known as the Vitruvian Man, and it is a study of the ideal proportions of the human form, and it is part of a book written by Luca Paciolo known as the Divine Proportion. The goal of ancient Greek artwork was often to represent humanity at its most perfect and ideal. However, naturalism was also important. A big part of this attempt at idealism and naturalism was to figure out the proper proportion of the human body, how the various parts compared to each other and to the larger a while. So, the Vitruvian proportion illustrates a variety of different proportions of a human body. So, we have the Vitruvian proportion. Namely, with arms outstretched, a man is so wide as he is tall, with the genitals as the midpoint. Number 2 is the knees are halfway between the genitals and the top of the head. The third proportion is the chest is halfway between the genitals and top of the head. The fourth is the chest is the same width as a quarter of the height. Fifth proportion is the measurement from the elbow to the fingertips is also a quarter of the height. Sixth proportion is the nose is halfway between the hairline of the chin. Seventh is the eyebrows are halfway between the nose and hairline. The eighth proportion is the lips are halfway between the nose and chin. The ninth is the head is one of the eight and the total height. The 10th is the hand is 1/10 the total height, and the 11 is the foot is 1/6 from the total height. That's the 11 Vitruvian's proportion, and that's the third artwork that I'll be sharing with you guys. First, Mona Lisa. Third, second rather, the Last Supper, and the last one is the Vitruvian Monks. Again, this artwork of Leonardo da Vinci is the one of the famous artwork in the world. And guys, it's done. I'm done sharing my output with you. I'm hoping you have learned something about this video. And again, I'm Baby Rexina Capistrano from BSBA FM2A. And thank you for watching. God bless. Thank you.